Are they better than the Eagles offense right now?
They had one spectacular game which skewed the numbers.
Right. Yeah, I got you. Yeah. No, they're not. They're not better. I'm just
they're
saying.
Not better.
It is alarming, though, how bad we've been offensively. Welcome in, everybody, to a Thursday edition of Birds 365 here on JAKIB Sports. I'm your host, Zander Krause. That's my co-host, John McMullen. It's game day, everybody. Week 6 in the National Football League starts today, and our Philadelphia Eagles kick it off versus the New York Football Giants. Johnny Mac, how you doing this Thursday morning? A long day ahead, my friend.
Yeah, preparing, trying to up the amp up the. You gotta get fired up, just like the players. It's gonna be a long night up the turnpike in North Jersey. I like all the New York people. They don't want to call it New York football now. For the past decade, now it's North Jersey football, because it's been so brutal. Not only the Giants, but also the Jets. Yeah, it's been a difficult stretch, and I think they're up against it again today. But Eagles have some injury issues as well, popping up as expected. Landon Dickerson's not going to play. Grant Calcaterra's not going to play. Brett Toth is going to be your starting left guard, and all of a sudden, popping up on the injury report, which is far more important, Jalen Carter, questionable with a heel injury. And that, remember, he wasn't on the practice reports until yesterday. So that happened during walkthrough. They're not practicing, so it had to be a walkthrough, had to be something where it popped up.
Well, what do you think when you think heel? I thought that was I was trying to think. I could, what do you think?
He had been dealing with a shoulder, so this is new.
I'm just saying, you don't hear heel injury often. What does that look like? I don't know. Just banged up the back of his heel. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, people hurt their heels all the time. Yeah, I disagree with that. Yeah, I mean, heels are injuries. Anything with the foot.
I'm not saying it's not an injury. I'm just saying it was definitely one that I wasn't expecting to see.
No, anything with the foot. What you don't want is Lisfranc. That's the worst. But obviously, there's, think about even turf toe or something like that, keeping Joe Burrow out for the season, which is, it sounds, people say turf toe, what it really is a torn ligament. So, a lot of things can go wrong with the feet. I remember talking to Lane Johnson. Man, if your feet hurt, it sucks to play football. Direct quote from Lane Johnson.
Yeah. So and your feet probably hurt most of the time.
Yeah,
Johnson.
Exactly. And Lane's a big proponent of the toe spacers, which he tells all the young players to use as well.
Are you a toe spacer guy, John?
I am not a toe spacer guy because I don't play football. I assume I would be if I played football. But it was funny. Nolan Smith went out and talked about toe spacers because Lane told him to. So it was pretty funny. But if you're sitting
on Achilles there, right? I don't know, heel close to the Achilles. No worry, that would have been explicit.
That would have been. Normally, if you see somebody tear an Achilles in game, and it's a torn Achilles, which is pretty
obvious,
pretty easy and obvious to see at times. At least at times, you'll see it labeled in game as an ankle more than they wouldn't go heel. They typically label it ankle and then revert back to.
Is he going to be good to go tonight? I think that's the bigger.
I don't know, because I don't know what's going on. We're not in there yesterday. Obviously, the Eagles don't talk about injuries. Sometimes questionable is just, hey, we're managing through the week, and sometimes it's real, and we'll have to see when we get there if it's real or not.
Yeah, we'll see how that shakes out. Good injury report there. No Landon tonight. Saquon again heads back to MetLife. John, my number one thing going into MetLife, I know we talked about it yesterday, which made me feel a little bit better because the stats aren't as, they don't bear out to be as, they don't back up.
Reputation.
Back
up the reputation.
The
reputation is real.
And you want to get out of there healthy, no doubt about it. They got we got the Eagles at Giants at MetLife tonight. Jackson Dart versus Jalen Hurts, Johnny Mac. It should be a good one tonight. Number one thing, they got to get out of there healthy and get the W. But it is a good get right. I don't want to look. I'm not I'm not the kind of guy that takes it lightly, where he's like, "Oh, you're the Giants. It's the Giants, so you should beat the shit out of them." I think it's a get right game for the Big Birds, but they got to play their best football. Find their rhythm, try and figure out what this offensive identity looks like, and it's a good game to do that tonight. Even though you are missing a couple, Landon Dickerson obviously is a tough loss, but I do think that's the opportunity they have tonight with a much lesser opponent.
Yeah, I mean, I talk about the NFL all the time. Anybody can beat you. That's proven almost every week. So many upsets, but this is as easy as it will get from a competitive standpoint. And if Malik Neighbors is healthy and he's there, and Russell Wilson is still playing quarterback, I'd have a different thought process. I'd say, the Eagles are still clearly the much better team, but they play their A game and you come in and play your C or D game, you might get bit in the what. But look, they're playing a quarterback who's not ready to play because the coach is desperate to show any kind of optimism to keep his job, and the GM as well. And the locker room tends to see that. The old adage, the old meritocracy, which is kind of a fallacy in the NFL at times. This guy will help me win the most. Anybody think this rookie quarterback is got a better opportunity to give the Giants a chance to win than Russell Wilson at this stage? No way. I mean, Russell is not good now, but you saw the Dallas game earlier in the season. He's still capable of having those types of games.
Let's be real, John. If these guys knew that they were going to be back for next year, Jackson Dart would not be playing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you're hamstringing yourself in a lot of ways by keeping it. Now, the one thing I would point to is a little bit of a concern because Landon's not playing. The strength of the Giants is the defensive front. Dexter Lawrence might be the best nose tackle in football. Against the interior of the Eagles' offensive line, banged up Cam Jurgens, Tyler Steen, and now Brett Toth. Could be time for Dexter to eat a little bit. So a little bit of concern from that perspective. And they're very good outside as well, at least from a talent perspective, with Brian Burns, who's having a big year, and Kayvon Thibodeau and the rookie Abdul Carter. So they're very talented up front, but they don't back it up well. The secondary's not good. But I do think, it might be the typical what's wrong with this offense if they can't block the guys up front, and there's a chance they can't block the guys up front, at least on paper.
John, do you think they know yet what their offensive identity is? Like, I understand that they're not I understand they don't need to be, playing their A game football every week right now, or it's not even realistic to expect that, I don't think, for any team. But I don't think they know yet what they want to be on offense. Is that a fair statement, or do you think they know who they want to be and they're just trying to get there?
Yeah, I think they know who they want to be and they're trying to get there.
What is it?
That's from seeing Dick Sirianni over the years get that question in almost a proverbial eye roll. They're a run first team and they want to run the football and they want to run the football effectively. And if they stay ahead of the sticks, they'll be fine. They can't stay ahead of the sticks. So he said numerous times this year, the goal isn't to play your best football in October. It's to play your best football November, December, and then into the playoffs. And that's the goal. So I think similar to play calling identity is very similar discussion. It's about effectiveness, and they haven't been effective. So you don't have an identity. Last year, they were effective. At least the perception was they were effective. They were effective in the run game, not so much in the pass game at times, but people said they had an identity because they were effective. I think it's very, very similar, very, very similar discussion. So, they might go out I think it's less likely they might go out and throw for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. I don't think that's going to happen, but that doesn't mean their identity is throwing the football because they had effectiveness
Right.
in one game. What they want to be is to get back to what they were, or at least close to what they were last season. And, I mean, Saquon Barkley's averaging 3.2 yards per carry.
That's what I mean. That's where my fear, not my fear, but that's where my thought process comes in about the identity. You know, are you going to be able to be that identity? I don't know. I mean, I think there's got to be a new version of it, but I understand that you still got to strive to be what you want to be,
Yeah, I still think they think that's their best way to get to the finish line each and every week. And maybe at some point you got to give up on it if it continues. I mean, there's only 17 of these things. So while it's still short, small sample size, you're getting to the point where it's getting larger and larger each week. And the numbers are what they are, even though contextually you can always put everything into it. And some of the raw numbers are, this is perfect week. The Giants have the 19th ranked offense in the NFL. I brought this up on the show yesterday. The Eagles have the 30th. Anybody think the Giants offense is better than the Eagles offense?
We don't think it is, but is it? It's a brutal conversation to have. Are they better than the Eagles offense right now?
They had one spectacular game which skewed the numbers.
Right. Yeah, I got you. Yeah. No, they're not. They're not better. I'm just saying.
They're not better.
It is alarming though how bad we've been offensively. It's fair.
It is fair to point out they have not been good offensively. And part of it is the tough portion of the schedule against good defenses. They have played good defenses. I mean, some of the best defenses they will face during the year came early in the season. All the struggles against Tampa over the years. You know how good the Rams front is. I think people realize that now. I think people realize now Denver's pretty good up front with their front as well. Nick Benito, player of the week, by the way.
Yeah, I saw that.
So, I mean, they have played some good defenses. So that factors into it as well. And you'll get, as the schedule wears on, you'll get some easier opportunities. And, the Phillies won last night. They can, this is the best example in baseball because you play so much and you play 162 games and you're dominant and you beat up on such bad pitching during the regular season. Then you get to the playoffs where generally everybody's pretty good and the pitching staffs are deeper and it doesn't look as good. And people will say, well, why don't you look the way you looked against the team that won Chicago, the White Sox, who won 65 games or, whatever. Well, they stink. So you're boosting your numbers against these crappy teams. And then when you get down to the good teams, it doesn't look as good. Same thing with the Giants numbers. Well, they boosted their numbers for one game.
Yeah, no, they did. There's no doubt that they did. Yeah. And they're not even playing that anymore because they sat that quarterback. So it's like
exactly.
And
plus their best player who's legitimately a big time player. Malik Neighbors got hurt as well. So that factored into it. And even their best running back, I shouldn't say their best running back because Scatterbo's probably better, but is it Scatterbo? Scatterbo is probably better, but
Scatterbo, I don't know.
They thought Tyrone Tracy was their best running back, and he got hurt. He's evidently going to play, so he'll be back, and they'll have the 1-2 punch to scare you.
I want to see Scatterbo and Cooper DeJean in the open field tonight. I hope Cooper DeJean lays him out. I think Cam Scatterbo is a little overrated.
Well, I would agree with you, but he's a big physical guy.
He is physical.
You don't have to worry about Cooper wrapping up people. He's going to wrap you up. One of the best form tacklers in football. So But yeah, if Cam gets you with leverage, that's all those big things are. Is hey, you got the leverage and you blow somebody over. I mean, I guess that's possible, but I wouldn't worry about it.
All right, John, let's talk a little bit more about this game at length here at nauseum. We appreciate everybody for being here today. I want to thank my boy TK Fresh, who became a member. TK, thank you, brother. We might be having a giveaway tomorrow on the channel. We've had a couple this week. We've had a bunch of so far this season. So, TK, thanks for locking in your membership. Don't forget, everybody, to become a member on the channel. We do a bunch of merchandise and giveaways, JAKIB merch giveaways, Eagles jersey giveaways here for all of our members. So we do appreciate all the great people who support the channel and all the people who watch as well. We appreciate all of you guys for being here. Hit that like button. It's game day, everybody. John, who is Jackson Dart? Maybe fans don't know who Jackson Dart is. He was the 25th overall pick this year in the 2025 draft. He has started now 2 games. They sat down Russell Wilson after game 3, after week number 3. So in 2 starts, he's 39 of 60, 65% completions for 313 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks, and he's also run 19 times for 109 yards and a touchdown. Back at the NFL draft, John, Daniel Jeremiah comped Jackson Dart to Jalen Hurts. Who is Jackson Dart, Johnny Mack? He's got an uphill battle today. Certainly versus Vic Fangio and what Vic will probably do to try and mix him up. But, interesting one tonight with a rookie quarterback, game 3 for Jackson Dart up against the Eagles.
Well, I think DJ comped him to Jalen Hurts because Jackson Dart comps himself to Jalen Hurts. So I think that's a lot.
He's talking like him now, too. Did you hear that after the game, after his game?
I have not. He's not playing like him. So
no, but he was like, all I care about is winning. We didn't win the game today. We didn't win the game. I'm like, oh, good. Yeah. He's learning from Jalen.
I mean, right now he's basically the only thing that's going to impact is the running game. He's very mobile. Vic specifically mentioned the shotgun runs, the gun runs. That he can impact the game a little bit. Right now he's not ready. And then on top of it, again, you lose your best receiver. And some people, they also Darius Slayton's not going to play. Now Darius Slayton's been playing terrible football. So that might be a silver lining to get one of the younger guys in because it's hard to imagine they would play more poorly. But right now, Wan'Dale Robinson, who's a good player, decent player, but as a wide receiver 3, he's your wide receiver 1 all of a sudden. And then you have young guys like Bo Collins who haven't proven themselves at all. So you got a quarterback who's probably not ready to do it in the passing game with Malik Neighbors, as the number 1 playing. It could get ugly from that standpoint. Yeah, I imagine they'll try to run the ball with Scatterboo, and as I said, Tyrone Tracy will be back. So they're going to try to run the football and try to do things that way. And maybe take a shot and play action every now and again. But consistently, they're not going to be able to throw the football.
No, they have no skill position players.
Yeah.
I mean, you just named them, but yeah, without Malik Neighbors, who is a stud player, by the way. Last year, I think he had 109 catches, over 1,200 yards. So, yeah, he's out, no doubt. John, it's funny if I asked you, how do you set a rookie quarterback up for success? It would basically be at least in my opinion. I don't know I don't want to speak for you, but it would be the opposite of what the Giants have. You need to have a good offensive line, a solid running game and some solid guys to throw the ball to. But most importantly, give him a good offensive line so he's not seeing ghosts back there every single game. Well, the Giants don't really have any of the above, John. So it's a tough battle for Jackson.
Well, and plus, let's be honest. I mean, I've been on. I don't think this is a first round level pick. The Giants were desperate to get a quarterback with, to give some hope to the people in the organization. And look, I think that's a bad way to go about it. Even though, there was speculation they might jump earlier. So at least I give him credit for that, you know. But to me, this is a second, third round pick. And now he's got that first round label on him, and people expect a first round pick. And I think what they're seeing is and they traded up from early in the second round to get back in the first round to pick him, I think, at 25, which is better than taking him, in the top 10, obviously. But still, when you get that first round label on you, and I just don't think from a talent perspective, he's a first round pick. But that's the expectation. And boy, I wouldn't have pulled the plug on Russell Wilson. I just wouldn't have.
Me neither, but you get it. I mean, it's more the business than anything. I don't think I really don't think it's about football, but it is what it is. John, the one strength of the Giants team is that defensive line. Now, have they performed as good as they looked on paper? I don't know. I'd have to dive a little bit deeper into that. I've watched.
Yeah, they have good. They have good. Well, people are going to say Burns has because he's got the sacks. He's got 5 sacks, so he certainly has. But Dexter has not. But if you look at just how they're playing, Dexter's still number 11 of defensive tackles if you want to use PFF. So he's still not. He's usually 1 or 2. So
I think Burns is graded out pretty high too, though, right now.
Oh yeah, Burns is 20. They've all graded. That's what I'm getting to. Burns is 20 of 109 on the edge. Abdul Carter's 34 of 109. He's got 22 pressures, which, we had the one commenter that doesn't matter. Well, he's playing well. And Thibodeau's 39 of 109, which is also pretty good. So they're all playing pretty well. And then you have the guys, Roy Robertson Harris, who's 46 of 119 as an interior guy. And then Darius Alexander, who's, more of the last guy in the rotation, is the only one who doesn't have, but he's only played 90 snaps. So they're talented. That's clearly the strength of their team. Clearly. I mean, by leaps and bounds. And that's why I said there's probably going to be moments in this game, especially with Brett Tothan inside, where Eagles fans are upset because there's going to be a swarm. They're gifted. That's the one place where you can say, okay, they got something going on the defensive front. They're very gifted.
Yeah, no doubt. Abdul Carter's been playing well too. I know he's got 1 sack, but you mentioned him. He got a pressure machine right now. Boy, they got a lot of edge rushers. They do.
They do, man.
Burns, Carter. I mean, hey, we could use one of them over here in Philadelphia.
Well, I thought they might draft Darius Alexander. He's more interior, but I thought they might draft him. That's the one point where you say, well, the Giants, they don't play each other, so it doesn't matter. But the Giants have much better edge defenders than the Eagles do. There's no question about that.
Yeah, they got three big names, and then they got obviously Dexter Lawrence. I think Dexter Lawrence, John, we all know how good of a player he is and everything like that. But I think he's got to be licking his chops a little bit tonight coming into this game, just knowing that no Landon Dickerson, Cam Jurgens is beat up, and you got a first-year starter in Tyler Steen.
That's another, It's been a tough go with Cam ever since Vita showed up.
Yeah,
and now it's even worse with Dexter.
Right.
I agree. I think he's licking his chops tonight.
Well, let's see how much of an impact you think he will have on the game. I think it could be big from Dexter Lawrence tonight, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things
to really do something in the game. The D-line has to take over and give their offense a chance. If they don't, they're going to be in trouble.
I mean, nose tackles are, they're great to have, but they're not really game wreckers. But Dexter's probably the closest one, in the league to being a legit game wrecker. Jeffrey Simmons, you can argue, but he's more of a, again, bad team, but he does both, but he's more of a 3 technique. There's very few nose tackles who are going to wreck games. So that usually takes care of itself. You got to be more worried about the edge guys, Burns and Carter specifically. They're the game wreckers. And you're better equipped, obviously, with Jordan Mailata and Lane Johnson. So that, I like I said, I think it'll look ugly at times and but I don't think it'll cost you a game or anything of that nature.
No, yeah, I agree with that. John, something I forgot to mention at the Open when we went down the injuries was Nakobe Dean. John will be out there tonight. He's set to get his first dress of the year and be out there with his team. Now, I don't know what capacity they will use him, if any at all. But how do you see that playing out? And your thoughts on Nakobe Dean's return?
Yeah, we'll see. To use Nick's phraseology, it's strange to not let him dress with a full week and then let him dress in a week where you're not practicing. And he's questionable. So, I mean, he's the same game status as Jalen Carter. Plus, you have the mini bye. So I don't know. And Vic said, by the way, earlier in the week, he hasn't played. He didn't have a camp. So when he does get activated, because he's not even on the roster yet, he's got to be activated. Now they have a space and they can do it, but he's not going to have a big role early on. So, and again, he's going to be, when he does get activated, if that happens tonight, it's, he's going to be a backup to Zach Bond and Jihad Campbell and probably play on special teams, but that's it. So, yeah, to be determined, as the old, we'll see, Nick Sirianni.
Yeah, we will see is right, no doubt about it, John. Going into this football game, looking at it from the Eagles' defensive standpoint, John, I know we looked at that Giants D-line, and it is a good one, no doubt, but I do think the Eagles also have a chance to dominate on the defensive line. Now, Giants do have Andrew Thomas back, who is an amazing player. He was a second-team All-Pro, I believe, in 2022, maybe? 23, one of those years. 22, I think he might have been a second-team All-Pro, but he's a good player. They got John Runyon, all right, is their left guard, and then you got John Michael Schmitz, their center, Greg Van Roten, their right guard, and Jermaine Illumineur is their right tackle. So still some opportunity there. Not the best unit, not brutal, not as bad as it has
been. Worse.
It's been worse. Yeah, but I still think it's there's some opportunity there for I think Runyon, Van Roten, and Illumineur have each allowed 2 sacks. So I think there's an opportunity there for the Eagles to have a good day on the defensive line as well.
Yeah, it's probably not going to be a good day for Jalix Hunt, but everybody else.
What's going on with Jalix Hunt? He has not showed up fully.
Well, I mean, because Andrew Thomas is legit, big time, and he's it's been a while, but he's gone. Now that he's back, he's playing at a high level, and he's probably going to shut down who's ever on that side, which unfortunately it's usually Jalix. They'll flip a little bit, but for the most part, it's going to be Jalix. So that's a tough matchup. Everybody else, yeah, I mean, they're average to below average players, and I think big key is if Jalen Carter plays. If he plays, I think you're going to be fine. If not, then probably have some issues because he gets so much attention, and that means you give more attention to Morrow, who's playing well now. Jordan Davis, they've kind of flip-flopped. He's not playing as well as he was early in the season, but he's still playing effectively. But if you lose that linchpin, Jalen Carter, if he's not out there, I think that affects both of those guys. And then Zadarius Smith is just good. He's good. But you don't want to wear him down. You got to be key. You can't just say we're struggling. And I think Azeez Ojulari will be fired up. I would have liked to have talked to him, but he's kind of gone incognito when he was inactive. And then he finally got his opportunity last week, and he played pretty well, I thought. And he'll obviously a little bit more to get fired up about against his old team, so that might help as well.
Yep, no doubt about it. Aziz, Saquon heading back to MetLife tonight. That story has a little bit fallen off. I mean, it's year 2 now, so Saquon's an Eagle now, so it's no longer as fun when he's obviously set history with the Birds.